Hello, James here, and welcome to the James Cast. And what are you listening to? Tech Talk with Andrew Thomas and myself, which means, well, every week we get together, we do a Zoom call. We're not meeting face to face, we're doing a Zoom call, and we talk tech. We talk tech at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Andrew's not a morning guy, so I'm pretty much convinced that he just stays up all night. He pulls the all-nighter for the show. And you really never know where we're going to go. We do have a plan and you can get all the links in the description, but we get off in all sorts of wild directions depending on what's going on in the day. It could be a Wi-Fi issue, could be that Apple Watch that Andrew's going to buy and still hasn't bought. You never know where it's going to go. It's just a really fun conversation. We love to share it with you. Here you go. This is Tech Talk right here on the James Cast, and you would have heard portions of this on Podaholics. So yeah, enjoy. Here we go. Tech Talk.
Here we go. Podaholics time. Tech Talk with Andrew Thomas from DigitalXA.com. Yeah, it's World Wrestling Federation intros.
I like it.
Yeah,
I feel like the Ultimate Warrior running down.
There we go.
This should be running through. Yeah, I didn't get any of that music, James. So there's definitely something going on.
Yeah, you see, the whole intro thing is lost on you. You should be able to hear everything, and you're hearing nothing. So what's that telling us?
At least I'm hearing you. So I mean, that's the important bit, right?
It
would be a very one-sided podcast if it was just you talking and me talking and neither of us listening.
Yeah. So the big question is, why aren't you hearing anything? But we'll play with it.
That's cool.
This is, again, that whole issue. We were talking about it, and you were actually mentioning that, hey, I've got this whole setup, and I use it for school, and I use it for podcasting, and I had to take it down yesterday and go on the road with it, and putting it back together, everything's there, and then suddenly, a dongle might not be functioning right, who knows what, and it's darn annoying.
Yeah, well, it's that process of elimination, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I was saying, I mean, if my connections, it's usually either the internet or the mic or speaker or Zoom. I've got 4 things to choose from, but I think you've got about 60 different variables that could impact your communication, right?
Yeah, and the question is, why is it not working? That ultimately becomes the whole thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that will get you for the next couple of hours. It's a horrible way to start the day.
I know, because then you're just trying to figure out, well, why is it not working? Why is this not working? Oh, what's going on here? And what changed? And man, it's and every time you want to change something, then as you said, you're watching on. I'm unplugging cables. You're going, don't do that. Don't unplug the cables.
Yeah. What about this one? It's almost like you're a doctor saying, testing vital.
Yeah.
What about this?
How's this feel?
Dr. Jenna. So yeah.
Oh man.
Get her in the house.
Oh man.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, well, it's all kind of working. So that's
yeah.
and
we got a lot to talk about, right? So lots been going on in tech this last week.
It's Apple and Microsoft, and there's irony here, because as I was looking at all that's going on with iOS 14 and what's going on with the Microsoft folks with Edge and all, making the whole 360 thing work, all the that you're going to really be able to take Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all this on your phone, wow. And all I keep thinking about is jumping back to the huge controversy that Microsoft and Apple had about the operating system itself back in the day. And I just think it's irony. I'm sitting here reading all this, just laughing, going, what happened?
Yeah. It's odd, right? I mean, it's. I think that one of the huge things is now with iOS 14, and we'll get into some of that in a minute, is the fact that you can change your default clients for browsing and email.
I mean, that is huge.
Yeah. It's so much better as well, because definitely. I use Gmail as a client instead of the email on there. So that now means that when I'm clicking links or I want to email someone directly, it opens up, and it's small. It's a small adjustment, but it's a big adjustment. And obviously, the world is, when I look at that kind of corporate world, especially, it is split almost straight down the middle as far as Office 365 and Gmail, the G Suite, as it were. So, this is pretty much what kind of runs the world from a business perspective, be it, PowerPoint or Excel or Sheets and Slides and Word and Docs, So I think now you've got the ability to default these in. But what was interesting, like you said, back in the day, they wouldn't, there'd be an iOS update and they'd be like, try and struggle with that app. But now they're actively saying, look, we're ready. Microsoft is saying we're ready for iOS 14. We've improved this. We've updated this. You guys are going to be able to run with it, right? And I think that has also something to do with it. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it has something to do with the fact that iOS also powers, the iPad Pro, and people are using this more and more in their kind of daily work lives as well. So, it's not just about updating your phone anymore that, just does messages and things like that. I think that's probably one of the reasons why as well.
I just think it's really interesting that in a sense we now have this agreement that sure, you've got the Apple environment, yes, you've also got a Google environment, and yes, you've got a Microsoft environment, and they all need to be able to function on your device. And the idea that, hey, you know what, we're only going to get you using, Keynote, we're only going to get you using Pages, we're only that it's like, hey, that is not going to work for everyone, and we've got to be more inclusive and open things up a little bit and allow those ecosystems to work. And I guess it in one sense by giving more accessibility, it makes your device a little bit more appealing to that fringe group who was saying, so, you've got the dyed in the wool, I'll buy anything Apple and I don't care. You've got that group at the far end who's saying, hold on a second, I need accessibility. And if I can't get into where all my stuff is easily, this device doesn't work. And then you got the middle ground say, oh, I can use a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'll use my phone for some things and my laptop for others. And I think this is going to be that nice little tip for your premium phone, premium tablet buyers who might have been saying, hey, I'm going to head over to a Chromebook or I'm going to head over to a Windows operating system. Now they're going to say, you know what? This is getting more exciting. And as prices are coming down a little bit and as new product is coming out, I think it's kind of neat.
No, it's very cool. It's good to see that they're kind of more connected, as it were. So I think this works well. I wonder what kind of apps they provide to Huawei. Because obviously Huawei, have kind of built out this own app store now. So I think that's definitely had an impact on that as well. They probably are not focusing on those platforms anymore. But these operating systems now are kind of, becoming a lot more intelligent, right? Yeah. This iOS 14 update is massive. I think it's only 3 gigs as well. So you kind of needed to free up that space. What's interesting is some of the biggest features are super old as far as
well, that's it. I'm looking at the list and I'm going
standard, standard.
What am I missing here?
Apple. That's it. Standard Apple operating procedure that you and I have spoken about in the past, which is, let's release something that's been available for 6 years and call it our own, and people go crazy over it. So it's kind of like, the widgets.
I know.
The big thing for a lot of people is the widgets. The ability to, and that's been one of the frustrating things, I guess, as an iOS user. Back very early days when you didn't have an app store here, and you had no connectivity or support. I did jailbreak my iOS. And that gave the ability to play around with the operating system. But other than that, since then, when support came here, I've been, straight and narrow, as it were, on an iOS proper system. But yeah, these widgets allow you to kind of just blow out exactly what you've been able to do on an Android device for about the last 6 years. Yeah. So, change the space and have a big clock, or have your photos there or whatever. So I think it's given, for the first time ever, most iPhone users some flexibility in look and feel. which is cool. Like it's cool. But again, they've done some stuff. I mean, the big thing I think for me is the security piece. So the security layer is enhanced across the board. So even down to apps that want your location. All apps want your location, right? Yeah. And obviously on iPhone, you have the ability to do it, once, ask for permission, or only when you're using the app. Now, even when it's only using the app, you can put precise location on or off.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and that's I know that comes up on my Huawei phone all the time. They, that warning will come up for apps, and I really like that you can turn it off or only when the app. I love the option only when the app is in use, which makes you start thinking, hold on a second, I'm not using the app and it's constantly sending my data, which is what Google does and why Google Maps works.
Exactly, but what's that? And that's back to your point. What's interesting about precise location is for Google Maps, for KFC, I want to make sure the Colonel delivers my bucket of chicken properly. They need to know my precise location. Yeah. Whereas, in all honesty, why does a game need to know my precise location? Now it's more about ad delivery. So I don't mind knowing that I'm here in Dubai at the moment, but do I want it to know exactly where I am? No, I mean, why? Why would you want that? So I think that, this is one of the things that's impacted the privacy issue. A lot of app developers like Facebook, like Google, that use that locational reference for targeting have kind of cried a bit, listen, this is going to impact advertisers. So I think, from a user perspective, that's improved security, but obviously from an advertiser's perspective, some of that's going to be taken away. Yeah. So I mean, those quite interesting, I thought, to see obviously what that was. But I mean, like you said, I mean, most of this stuff, like threaded messages and pinned group chats, this has been available in WhatsApp for I don't know how long, right?
Yeah. Keep allows you to do, just with note taking, pin stuff to the top, etc. Even, it's kind of like Apple caught up and everyone's going, wow, it's here. And it's thankfully they're here. I guess one thing that I kind of lamented as I was reading through all of these kind of things is, where's the innovation here? I mean, they're caught up, they're doing things. Where's that thing that I look at and go, now that is cool. That is something I need. And either we're at a saturation point where there isn't a whole lot new to add to it, or it's just the pool is pretty small with the thought process, and everyone is just chasing the same, chasing after their tails. I don't know. I wondered what you thought.
I mean, I think obviously we're talking about the iOS, and they also updated the Apple Watch as well, and some of the features and functionalities on there. I'll tell you the quirkiest update was the back tap. I don't know if you've heard about this. So I saw it online and actually thought that it wasn't real. Yeah. Because it's very bizarre. So if you've got your phone.
Yeah. I can see that.
You can basically tap the back, and you see that? It took a screenshot.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can tap the back twice or 3 times, and you get a different, like, you can open up Siri, you can take a screenshot, you can, and it was one of those quirky things that I kind of thought, why?
That's cool. I mean, that's really cool.
It's pretty cool, like from a screenshot perspective. I like the screenshot, instead of kind of you can now take a screenshot with one hand, right? Which I don't know why you do that, but I guess, it's kind of handy, right?
Well, you're holding it up because you're taking a shot and you just click. That's a cool little feature, actually.
Yeah. So you can do, it's called back tap. And I mean, I think the thing is that what's interesting is there's been a whole load of, people that have updated and also shown there's quite a nice battery functionality. So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So what happens is if you've got devices connected to it, it will show you the battery of all those different devices. So if you've got your AirPods and you've got your other connected, also charging. So look, there is some fun stuff, and there's like the smart stack is pretty cool. So you can stack, widgets on top of each other and scroll through. So I quite like that. I mean, there's some. I've definitely. I mean, my whole process of change is, as you know, of updating, and I'm the first to update now. I used to be that guy that, trudged along. But first to update mainly for the security features, but there's been some other quirky bits in there. And also calls now. A call used to dominate the whole screen as an Apple device. Now it comes in at the top. So if you're kind of in the middle of something and you kind of just want to finish something off, you can then answer the call. And also Siri doesn't dominate the whole screen anymore as well. It comes up like a little, kind of smear at the bottom. So yeah, I'd say all round it's a good update. And obviously we'll see if some of the apps now that are updating over the next week, usually it takes a week for them to update, see if they've kind of hooked into any of the enhancements on the platform as well.
I want to go back to the back tap just for a second, and I'm curious what sensors they're using to make that work and what else those sensors might be able to do. And I think when we talk about health-wise,
accessibility, where is it? I'll tell you, this is the challenge now, right? With trying to find these settings.
Oh yeah.
So I found the settings, I did it, and then basically now I can't remember where it is. I was just going to tell you what was on the back tap, but if I can find it, I'll not control center. I think it's accessibility. But it gives you about 12 options for back tap. So
I've lost you. I've absolutely lost Andrew Thomas, and I can't hear you at all. I've got no sound.
Oh, yeah.
There we are. There we're back. We're back.
You good?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
That was there was me saying that this isn't very good podcasting. Accessibility to touch. Here we go. I found it. 1 second. So I'll tell you the list that you've got on your back tap, just how weird this is. So you've got a choice of double tap or triple tap. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got app switcher, control center, home, lock screen, mute, notification center, screenshot, shake, Siri, spotlight, and volume up and down. As well, which is pretty mad.
Yeah.
So you'd be tapping like a madman, like if you want to do the volume, but there's triple tap.
Okay.
So like you said, I mean, is this a functionality? It must have been there from day one, right? When they shipped the phone, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, that's as you said, that's a sensor.
Yeah.
So what's going on? It's very, like I said, when I first saw it online, it was someone taking a screenshot, and I thought, yeah, that's BS.
Yeah.
That's someone just, like. And so did everyone else, because the comments were just full of, okay, thanks. Right. And then obviously, no, it works. So one of the most novel things, but I guess I don't know anyone else that's done that before. So perhaps Apple have got it first.
Maybe. I mean, it's interesting, very interesting. I think that's, and that's a whole part of the phone that is great real estate to put things. You hold it in your hand typically. So imagine the health sensors that you put in there for heart rate. Yeah. If you can get blood oxygen level just built into the whole, that's kind of cool. I'm sure it's coming.
You've got obviously on I think they made some changes to the watch as well. Look, they also, we haven't spoken about, they launched a new watch, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I mean, obviously, I think it was iOS Watch 7, right? I think iOS 7.
You know what? I've lost count. All I keep remembering is that you were going to buy one, and then at about 4, that's it, I'm in. I'm going to have it in a week's time. We're sitting in the closet at 103.8 FM. I remember, we're in there. And I will have it next week. That's 3 years later. I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, I'm still waiting as well, right? So I mean, let's both wait together.
It's funny.
I do go on these little kind of journeys now and again where I get dive into, and it usually starts, and it happened actually at the weekend because I'd fixed. And we'll talk about it in a minute. I went down to the old kind of Al Ain Center in Dubai to get my screen fixed on my Mac.
Yeah.
Remember last week it was screwed up, but I started looking for cases and covers, and then I ended up in watch cases and watch covers. Then I ended up back looking at the new watch, and so I sometimes go down these rabbit holes to the point of nearly purchase, and I do remember our conversation every time.
I've got a colleague, Richard Kaywood, who you and him are kindred spirits because he is an Apple aficionado. He's using the greatest and latest, and he's always front of the wave trying things out. Doesn't own an Apple Watch, and his comment was with the new Apple Watch, "Is it time that I dive in and get one of these things?" and I just kind of looked at it and went, "No, you're not. You're talking it. You're never going to do it." So.
Yeah, I feel like I'm never going to tell you I bought it. I'm just going to casually like rock up when I see you, and then you'll be like, "Hold on a minute, have you got? Oh, what? Yeah. Oh, this thing. I've had this for a couple of months."
I wonder if with the update, the price point's really good. I wonder if there's going to be more people jumping into the Apple Watch scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Look, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, lifestyle-wise, I've made some changes in the last year, and this really, I think we're all just a bit more health conscious at the moment with what's going on globally,
yeah.
and this new watch does your kind of blood oxygen rate, it kind of does your heart rate. It does. I mean, there's a whole load. They're definitely leading the charge with health.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. But like I said, I mean, you said, I mean, price point wise, it's decent as well. I think the one that I'd want to get is the kind of 44 millimeter one or whatever, and it's starting at 1600.
Which
1600.
You look across the watches that are running Android. You're looking at mid range to high range. It's all in the price point. That's right there. That's a challenger.
Yeah, I mean, if you want now as well, I mean, you could get yourself an Apple Watch that pretty much does the job. Looks like not looks like what Apple Watch is, an Apple Watch, but the Series 3 now is $800.
Yeah.
So, if you just want that kind of, I don't know, just like fun, quirky watch, or you want to kind of start using it, I think, I mean, it's for 800 dirhams. I mean, I don't think there's any other Apple product that's that cheap, right?
And I think
so even if you want to own a bit of Apple.
The irony when you're talking about the third generation of these things is they all look the same. So unless someone's really looking close, Apple Watch is an Apple Watch, and no one comes up to you when you've got those watches on. I mean, I've seen lots of people. Is that third gen? Is that second gen? Is that sixth gen? What generation are you wearing? No one cares. It's an Apple Watch that's doing, for the most part, all the core functions. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. It might be that time, like you said, your buddy Richard there. Yeah. I mean, the prices start to creep up with some of the casings. You can have the stainless steel or the kind of aluminium. I mean, aluminium still is. I don't get it. The stainless steel is an additional 1,000 dirhams.
Why?
I don't get that. I don't know. I'm honestly perplexed by that. But I mean, you can get space gray aluminium case, Series 6 with a rubber, kind of sport band for 1,600 dirhams. So this feels, as you said, like time.
Yeah.
But let's see. As I said, I'm not going to tell you. Just going to rock up. It'd be like that day if I ever shave my beard off. I'll just kind of turn up and.
I'm waiting for that day as well. I mean, not that I don't like the beard, but there's in the back of my mind, it's that beard is going to go eventually. And
I don't think it would. No? My wife's in earshot, and I think I can hear her cursing me from the distance. But yeah, I think that's it.
I'm on the fence about this because one of your profile pictures that comes up, and in fact, I think it's on Google because I'm looking at it right now, is the beardless wonder. And and I'm on the fence. I mean, I like the beard. I like the ZZ Top look. I like the Outlanders look. The Duck Dynasty look. I mean, I like it. It suits you. But I don't know. The Beardless Wonder also looks good. So
I mean, I guess I was never called the Beardless Wonder before. Perhaps if I was called that, that may have kept it. I need to clearly erase all of these images all over the place of me without a beard.
This is an interesting one, and I want to come back to the AirPods in a second. But talking about profile pictures and syncing them, especially if you're in Google and you load up a new profile picture and that you sync it, I've still got some old profile pictures in my Google thing that won't unsync, and who knows how that happens. So I went onto the forums, and everyone says, well, put it in, turn off sync, turn on sync, and it should update. And I've got a couple of places where, no, it's not doing it. It's just not doing it. Who knows why?
I think the thing is with you, James, I mean, you are, a bit of a Dorian Gray here. So I think, you haven't pretty much aged in the last 30 years. So you've got, a picture somewhere that's very, very old in your house. And, so thankfully you don't look too different, right? So you're okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's where we come back with you, right? Because you've got the no beard shot. And that, now the full ZZ Top shot, and it's or maybe it's the Last Kingdom, Uhtred, son of Uhtred. You're looking like one of the Danes there.
Perfect. That's it. I get referenced quite a lot, but Duck Dynasty seems to be one, especially when I got the bandana on. Speaking of old, you sent this through on the notes about Netflix.
Yeah.
And these people that are still like, this blew me away, right? 2 million DVD subscribers.
Yeah.
I mean, are you serious?
I didn't even know they still shipped DVDs.
Yeah. I mean, this seems crazy. I mean, I know when I was in the States last, still at like CVS, the pharmacy, they have like what do you call it? A vending machine, where you can take out and put back your DVDs. And I saw people going up to it, and I'm like, seriously? Like, I mean, but 2 million subscribers. Yeah. But they reckon that with the pandemic, this may be the final kind of nail in that coffin, right?
Well, I was really surprised that the whole DVD thing. They had about 6.3 million subscribers in 2007. 2007 January is when Netflix also went online. And that's hit them up to 167 million subscribers across the world. But the fact that like you said that in 2020 they still have people getting DVDs. What I thought was interesting is why people are still getting DVDs. So I started reading through it and looking at it, and one reason was simply people who have low bandwidth. So depending on where you're living, right, especially in the States, low bandwidth, Blu-ray. So people like getting the Blu-ray. And the third one is there is folks that are saying, look, I get more options by going with the DVD. I get things sooner. I get a better selection of content, the stuff they don't put up online. And I thought, okay, I get that, but I'm like yourself, and I was thinking, I don't know the last time I've used the DVD player in the house.
No, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, we've got probably like everyone over 500 in a box somewhere. Yeah. Kind of fearful to get rid of them. There's definitely some places in the UK that buy your old DVDs and CDs. Yeah. So I think, I don't know if you saw that. This year is the first year that vinyl sales has outstripped CD sales.
Yeah, I saw that
for the first time.
I saw that.
Since obviously the shift, 20, 25 years ago across, with this kind of reemergence of vinyl. But yeah, I mean, DVD wise, it's just surprising. And I guess the thing is, we do live in a bubble sometimes where, you and I can happily watch 4K on our phones over a 5G or 4G network where, I know that even our good buddy Kelly Jones up there, at the lake, he's on a kind of Rogers, a kind of wireless system where bandwidth is limited, right? Yeah. He kind of he has to share connectivity, right, with the rest of the household. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's piggybacking off his neighbor who's got a ISDN line.
No. I mean, his nearest neighbor is like that way and that way. I mean, he's kind of like, right there in the sticks. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. We do live in a bit of a bubble here where massive connectivity, high speed bandwidth to the point where, you know, your router or your router is outdated, so you can't even avail yourself of that speed.
Yeah.
While meanwhile, there's people obviously that don't have that, you know, that technology. And also, to be fair, I think, you know, as much as, you know, that the new TVs have Netflix built in, and, you know, you click a couple of buttons, but I guess there's certain, from a generational standpoint, you know, some older people just don't have an email, don't know how to connect, and who's going to help them with that, right? You know, you kind of got an old TV perhaps that's been there for 10 years. You're happy, you got a DVD system. So, you know, that whole kind of streaming or is just blown past you, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And, you know, I think it opens up a whole, I think the interesting figure when we start talking about vinyl and DVDs, the interesting question becomes, what Spotify, what Google Music, what Apple, you know, what all of the streaming music has done to that industry. And do I want to get rid of late 70s, you know, technology with MP3 players, which we know has a very limited acoustic range? And vinyl is really superior to that as far as the, you know, if you get nice Japanese press, the sound when you got a good stylus on it, man, you really get nice range. And if that isn't pushing the vinyl back in, not just to aficionados, but to folks who are saying, you know what, this creates an interesting possibility.
Yeah, are you a vinyl guy? Are you kind of are you all over that, or do you have any vinyl left?
I do have vinyl. I'm not listening to it, but I do have vinyl. And my son, obviously, who's in the music industry, he's totally into vinyl.
Right. Okay. So he's all over that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because every time I hear the word vinyl, I think of Howard Stern and his producer, Gary Delabate or Baba Booey, and he's a huge vinyl guy, and he always kind of just takes the mickey out of him to the point where, you know, it's embarrassing as he always does. But, you know, I think my first experience obviously of listening to music was vinyl. I'm that old. I still remember the day that Dad got a CD player, which was nuts. I still remember the first CD that he got, which was Good Morning Vietnam soundtrack.
Wow.
You know, so it's kind of, you know, but I don't, I'm thinking now, I mean, I don't have, you know, a record player. I actually don't have any vinyl kind of with me anymore. So I think it'd be quite interesting actually to kind of introduce my son to that, perhaps to show him how that works. Yeah. Because he's obviously in that digital world and that digital space, right?
I think exactly. And I think that becomes really interesting to, you know, even just to compare. And there's something about the pops and the hisses and the crackles as you've really listened to something for a long time. I think that just becomes fun. It just really becomes fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's and it's kind of, you know, that nostalgia feel as well, you know, that we're all we were speaking about the Game Watch things last week. You know, I think obviously, you know, a lot of new products that are being released are driven by nostalgia, because it's the likes of you and me that are kind of coming up with the ideas, you know, why don't we do like, you know, Game and Watch, but bring it back, and that's it. So yeah, it'd be interesting actually, you know, to see if you can get kind of a decent record player here in a Sharaf or a Jumbo, or if they kind of look at you, you know, strangely, right? Yeah. I wonder if you have to go old school, like I did. And I want to tell you, just before we kind of close off, because I know we're time wise, but I did obviously last week, I had that cracked screen. Yeah. And ended up going down to the Al Ain Center. So for those of you that are in Dubai or, you know, coming into Dubai, that it's a phenomenal kind of place. It's like a mini shopping center. There's a good shawarma shop in there. There's a Baskin Robbins. There's, you know, a couple of other places. But what it really is just, you know, the place to, you know, buy computers, laptops, you know, anything associated to that, and any kind of fixing and repair. And I wanted to talk about it because what was interesting is that the dynamic has changed in there.
Okay.
So, and by what I mean is possibly why the reason bit of a younger crowd in there, right? When I was in there, and I was like, okay, because I thought PlayStation game. No, what the young guys are in there for is a lot of these shops now have turned into gaming PC shops.
Oh,
right.
Oh,
so
okay.
they've got these phenomenal kind of towers, mini towers, all the colors, all the lights. You've got guys going in and building their own gaming machines.
Wow.
Right?
That's kind of retro because that's the way it used to be.
Yeah. So kind of, from building your old gaming machines. So then it went kind of very business focused. I'd say there was a lot of, laptops, people buying laptops, MacBooks, for business. But then it swapped back now, and it was dominated by, even a store that I used to go to back in the day that's been there kind of 20 years, all gaming now.
Wow.
So it was just interesting to see that shift. But, those guys are great down there. I kind of, my screen was cracked. He's like, yeah, there it is. It's here. It's a fault. It's obviously not under warranty because it was out. I'd already checked with Apple. And they just, within 3 hours, I just went and grabbed a bite to eat, came back and obviously got this all singing, all dancing, brand new screen. And for those of you who are like, well, why would you go down there? One is to support small business and local business during these times. And two, you just always get a better price down there.
Yeah.
You really do, as opposed to kind of putting it anywhere else. And the workmanship and the customer care is just as good as anywhere else,
I wonder how they are with repairing dongle ports, making them a little bit more firm.
I reckon you should take a run down there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that's the bane of my existence, but that's kind of cool. So which shop are you going to? Can you give them a shout out? Is this the one on the second floor that's facing the road?
I used to go and see Ali, but he was closed.
Oh.
So I found a new one. This dude called Rizwan.
I know this shop.
Straight through, and go around the back opposite the cafeteria.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Very cool. So he's got a little tiny, kind of store. But yeah, he kind of helped me out and ended up getting a phone case there and right. You kind of you end up buying the other bits and pieces that go associated to it. But yeah, I mean, it was good to be back down there. You get a vibe in there. I mean, you get some real quirky stuff. It's a kind of browsing paradise, as it were, right?
Yeah.
If you're kind of into that tech space like you and I are, and obviously at the moment there's something here called Computer Street. That's not really the name of the street, but we, down in Burnaby is Computer Street, and it's just either side of the road. But obviously, it's still a bit warm to be kind of walking down there. So the mall helps out, and there's a Baskin Robbins in there anyway. So I mean that you can kind of while away the time in there while you're waiting for stuff to get fixed.
Speaking of computers and towers, Imtishan Giado, Motoring Middle East, that's how he started out. He's a computer geek.
Really?
Yeah, he's a computer geek. And he started out his whole journey through things, building towers and making computers. And the guy's quite the geek in that sense.
Well, there's still the shop that Tcon, which is TCON, around the back on the ground floor. That was where I built my first tower going back nearly 19 years.
Yeah.
And I built my own back then, just went in and said, okay, this motherboard, this. And they're like, well, we'll build it for you. And I'm like, no, that's part of the fun. Like, I want to build it myself. So, but I mean, I've actually given a shout out to that place a few times this last week, because I think new Dubai or new people don't ever go like that side of town, and they really need to,
I think just, I think back to, forget the computer stuff, but just that part of town. And I remember years ago when we had the boys here and you'd have birthday parties and you got to fill up a toy sack, right? The parting gift for I would head down there and I'd just come out with squeegee balls, cars, slingshots, buy everything in packets of 50. and it was just always an explore. I mean, it's just fun. You round a corner and then, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? And oh, hey, yeah, it's a fun part of the city. Yeah. And like you said, Al-Ain Center is just, it's been there ever since I've been here, 20 years. And as you said, changes and develops, but I've had nothing but success in there. And I haven't been in a couple of years because I haven't needed anything. But I think I'm at a point now where I've got to go down and get some connectivity sorted and see what we can do.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just, I've never kind of gone anywhere else, to be honest with you, from a kind of if I've got some problems or I'm still buying my my PlayStation games down there, my Nintendo Switch, for my son. So, I'd still very much kind of, use that place a lot, as it were,
Yeah, for sure. Andrew, I know that time is not on our side. Time to wrap another Tech Talk up. Andrew Thomas, digitalnexa.com. I'm James Pikeway. You're listening to Podaholics. www.podaholics.com. If you want to see what else we do, because we got hundreds of episodes up online. And of course, drop us a line, podaholics@gmail.com. It's been great. We'll do it all again real soon. Andrew Thomas, James Pikeway, Podaholics. You're listening to Tech Talk.